Greetings, Soul Stars. It's your sister Taboo Mahogany here to share life, light, and love as I am led to do so. For it is my calling upon this earth. I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers who have birthed children physically as well as spiritually. I called my mommy this morning. She didn't answer. I went straight to voicemail, left her a message. I'll be talking to her. And I just got off the phone with my sweet 22-year-old daughter, Kamaria Tanae. And I appreciate her call and I appreciate our relationship. And so I just wanted to talk very briefly, if I can. I'm trying to be brief, about your relationships with our mothers and how they ultimately connect and correlate to our relationships with ourselves. I am grateful for my relationships with all of my children. I'm grateful for my relationships with all of my mothers, because I have been mothered by many. And when they say this, it takes a village to raise a child, that is oh so true. And I'm so grateful for the village that raised me. In reflection, it is so important to forgive your mother. This is Taboo Mahogany speaking to Taboo Mahogany. Anything that I say to you, all of any soul star that is watching, any video, meme, anything I put out, it's to me first. Because you are a reflection of me and I am a reflection of you. And so, as I always say, I don't serve any medicine that I don't first take. I don't serve any food that I don't eat. I cook. I'm amongst many things, but I also am a self-taught chef. And I don't serve people food that I won't eat. I taste it first. I'm the cup bearer, right? And so here I am as your cup bearer. And if we want to be free, and if we want to experience who we are in fullness, we must forgive our mothers. Now, I know a lot of people might not have experiences where they feel like they have anything to forgive. There's always something to forgive. It doesn't have to be a trauma. It can be whatever. It can be seemingly insignificant, but ultimately when we hold our mothers at fault or blame for anything in our lives, we are holding up our progress, our development, our growth. I remember, I could tell a bunch of stories about my childhood and where my mind could go to where I would have to say I needed to forgive this, I needed to forgive that. And I've been doing this work for years. And I really give thanks to my grandmother, who is truly my soul sister. I mean, we were sisters in another life. We've been together for many lifetimes. It just so happens that in this lifetime, she's my grandmother and I'm her granddaughter. But she's also, been instrumental in raising me as well. And one thing that she always taught me, no matter what I was going through with my mother, was gotta love. You have to be the bigger person. And being young and being a child, my spirit intrinsically understood that. Even when my ego fought against that and cried out, why do I always have to be the bigger person? Why do I always have to, I'm the kid. Why do I have to respect someone that doesn't show any kind of love or respect for me? This is my ego. Because we all love in a different way. And what I translated as her not, my mom not showing love or anything, it's really truly not what it was at all. It was my projection of her. I chose her. My soul chose to come here through her. There was no mistake in that. Her soul called for me. There was no mistake in that. So anything that took place between the point that her soul called for me and my soul chose her, and me sitting here before you today, no mistake. It all happened, every bit of it, exactly how it was supposed to, exactly for us as individuals and as a collective, because ultimately we are one. So I'm grateful that I was always taught the principle of you have to love her. You have to love her. You have to love her. I got so tired of hearing that when I was going through things with my mom. But I remember sitting many times, sitting and writing letters to my mom. Some I gave her, and some I wrote just for my own personal therapy, and I ripped them up and burned them to just get the release, you know. And before I moved to Charlotte in 2016, so almost 2 years ago, I began a journey of healing myself through healing my experience and changing my perspective of my experience in some of my most profound and important relationships, one of those being with my mother. And I was encouraged to do that through The Magic, the book The Magic, Rhonda Burns, that's her name, the one who wrote The Secret. Okay, so I went to my mom's house, and we sat and we talked about things that actually I realized I was repeating myself, that because I had been doing the work. I had been working the magic, because before Rhonda Burns there was a Mary Helen Gillums, my grandmother, who taught me the magic. And so sometimes though, spirit, the universe, God will send you reminders of what's already in you. And I was reminded through reading The Magic that this work I had to do, because there were still some roots that hadn't been plucked up. And so they were still popping up at the surface. They would pop up at the surface of how I talked to myself, things I would say to myself. They would pop up at the surface at the way I talked to my kids and the way I thought about my kids. And they were roots that began with my relationship with my mother, with my relationship with my mother, with my projection of self onto my mother. Because as I look at my mother, I see me. I see what needs to be transformed in me. And if it's something I don't like, then I had to look a little deeper at myself. And I went and I sat with her and went through all of how much I appreciated her, and all of how much I love her, and understand now, being a mother and having children that have their own stories and needs to come to me with their own forgiveness, right? I understand. I understand her. I understand, because I am a mother. I understand because I look in the mirror and I see many times a reflection of what I didn't want to receive from her. I've seen it in me because it starts with me. And so there was so much freedom in that, and it brings me to tears because
the way that I felt is only a memory now. And that it makes me feel so grateful that I have a beautiful relationship with my mother, that I don't have the same pain associated with when I think about my upbringing or any of it. And so to be free from that, that's a gift I gave myself in forgiving my mother. I forgave my mother to free myself. And it feels so good. And I'm so grateful that we had those moments, and those moments no one can take away, no time can take away, no changes, no distance, no anything can take away the moments that we've had. And I'm glad that she received so graciously the forgiveness that I gave her, and forgave me for the pain that I've caused her when I held her up with my unforgiveness. So, that being said, I really just encourage anyone watching, and if you're watching this, it's because you're supposed to be. And if you made it this far into this video that I said is going to be brief, and we're 11 minutes and 35, 36, 37 seconds in, if you made it this far, it's because you're supposed to be here right now with me, with Spirit. I encourage you to forgive.